Welcome, all of you, wherever you are joining us from, whether on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. We want to say welcome to the 14th edition of Medical Reality Talk Show. Let's start with a word of prayer. Lord, we thank you. We commit our discussion into your hands today. We pray that we will not just share medical knowledge, but we will also impact life spiritual. Thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 Welcome, everyone. This is the full thing edition of Medical Reality Talk Show. And there was a short introduction. We've already done that in a short video so that we can go straight to what we're here for. So we want to say welcome. And if you are joining us from any part of the world, you're welcome. You're watching us on any of our platforms. Feel free to let us know where you're joining from in the chat rooms. Just let us know you're joining from China, we sit in China. And if you're joining from Africa, which country, Europe, USA, wherever you're joining from, you can also let us know so we can be able to know where you're joining us from. And this is a more interactive discussion. So we will also be discussing those strategies, and you may probably like to share with us in the chat room what is happening in Europe, in America, in Africa, and even here in China. We'd like to know what are your own strategies that are working for you. And I think this is educative and is very important. It's practical and is useful currently. So I'll be bringing my guests instead of me right now. And I guess they're ready. One of them and should be getting set. So I have remained to on Inspiration with Dr. Bala, and today is here. Welcome, Honorable with you, and welcome, Julie. You want to say hi? You're looking so stiff.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for the invitation, and I'm happy to be here today, and also sharing platform with the boss of my city, the lady who leads the city, and we follow. Um, and I'm hoping that we can have some fascinating discussion tonight and share our thoughts so that others in other areas can learn from us, or we too could learn from them based on the followings. Thank you for the invitation once more.
Thank you, Honorable with you. Julie, do you want to say opening sentence? Oh, I didn't know. So Julie is the coordinator of Shanghai. Is that right? She's the
Yeah,
boss
that's right.
lady for the Liberian students in
Yeah.
Shanghai. Welcome, Honorable Coordinator.
Oh, my mic. Okay. Can you
Yes, yes, please.
hear? Okay. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here again for the second time. The last time it was a great experience, and I'm very grateful to be able to share my experience again on this platform. And I'm happy that today I have with me my boss, the president of the Liberian Students Union. Yeah, he just called me his boss because I'm the coordinator for his city, but he is my boss because he's the president. So I'm very
I like
grateful.
that. The boss
Yeah, I'm
and the
very
boss.
grateful. He's the bigger boss. Anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm the smarter man. I'm with the
Ah,
bosses here. The president of the Liberian student in China, the counselor, then the coordinator of the students in the Liberian students in Shanghai. You have to be very careful today, what I say, the bosses. But yes, good having you guys and welcome Catherine. Catherine is joining Beijing. We hope you also be telling us what is happening in Beijing, and it's good having you. Catherine Machen, and that's the Secretary General Emeritus of the Liberian Student Union in China. A very hardworking lady. And Ato is also joining us at CFOS. I'm not sure where Ato is joining us from, but yes, and Ato, as you follow us, we hope you also share your experience and you'll be able to learn as well as we share our experience. So welcome everyone again, and I'm glad that you could join us. And those who are following us, we want to say welcome as well. So we want to go straight to this discussion today. A lot has already been said about introductions. So in the 5 minute videos we shared, so we want to go straight to the discussion today. So the topic is survival strategies. I use the word strategies because I think it's actually a strategy because lockdown, hmm, lockdown, you need to have strategies. So I use the word strategies during COVID-19 lockdown. And I think a lot of people around the world right now either locked down completely or partially locked down. And some people are restricted, or some people may not be in lockdown, but there are a lot of restrictions in the world. We're talking about COVID-19 and prevention, and if you are already stuck, what to do. Today we are more focused on is already in the hot zone, right? The epicenter where you can move. You are restricted. How can you survive? Because many times when it's just partial restriction, yeah, you're doing your normal life, you don't really know what's happening. But when you are stuck in your room or in your apartment for 27 days, I think in Shanghai it's close to 30 days already. That mean a lot. That mean a lot. So we want to do. Okay. So a lot. I was doing the research. There are a lot. I saw people sharing their experience, and I think there is not a very clear scientific kind of pattern right now. It may come from system to system, but there are a lot of couple of things that I pick up from different people's experience and that I work, and we will be talking about. So we want to keep to these ones, and we can also take other people's view from the chat room as well. So the first one I want us to talk about is keeping a routine. And so, Jolie, how is Shanghai, and what has been your normal routine, and how are you coping with that routine right now? Are you still doing the same thing? Has it changed? And if it changed, do you have a replacement that kind of more fit thing? First of all, how is Shanghai? What is happening in Shanghai? I don't want to talk for you.
Okay, so right now Shanghai is completely locked down. I mean, it's locked down because you're not even allowed to leave the building that you live, like the apartment, and you are not even allowed to walk around the compound. That's how critical it is to where I live. So we are stuck inside, and yeah, and it's very difficult to be able to get supplies because you have no access to the supermarkets and access to the online stores. So it's really tough to get food. So we are basically like relying on the government to provide for us to be able to survive. And in some other ways, there are some local group chats that Chinese gather together. They try to get some food. So that's just how we've been managing. The situation is really tight. Like it's really
Wow.
tight in the 2020 lockdown because I remember the 2020 lockdown, we could move around. Supermarkets were still open, even though they had control of the crowd, but it's not like that. It's like completely, we are completely in isolation. We are reserved. Yeah.
Wow. Honorable Wayfield, how is Shanghai?
Yes, like my boss said earlier, Shanghai is still locked down. Um, but we have some privilege as for us in the Baoshan area as compared to those in the Pudong area who went on lockdown earlier than we did. So Today is the 30th day that I have been locked down to an apartment with no right, privilege to defense to move outside of my apartment.
That sounds like
And
a
what is
prison,
happening?
Francis. That sounds like a prison, like 30 days
Yes,
confined in
yes,
your apartment. That sounds like, maybe in Liberia, South Beach.
yes, that's right. It is actually a prison we are in, I must admit. Um, but it is a kind of prison wherein you are aware of the reason why you are there, and not because you have broken a particular law or statute or whatsoever. But for some of those who are in apartments outside of their universities, I believe they have a little privilege, whereas they can come maybe down their building to do COVID examination and other stuff like that. For us, the COVID or the doctors or the health practitioners or the health workers come to your door and have you tested at your door, and you shut your door. So even the opportunity to even walk around, like maybe 100 meter or 200 meters, is highly impossible. So we see this as a way of life. We are getting used to the struggle. I do not want to repeat what the coordinator said earlier, but we are very optimistic that in as soon as possible time we will win this battle that we are fighting.
So talking about strategies to survive, I like how you just gave the picture of how things is in Shanghai. Well, I'm quite relaxed. I can say that in Guangzhou. Guangzhou have some restriction. There are a couple of districts also in lockdown. And but as a doctor, I think since 2020 up to now, I was only confirmed in a place for in my apartment for 3 days, and then I actually requested like no, 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 and they don't want me to go to work. After the 3 days, I'm not going to work. I actually want to be locked down for 50 days. I stay home for 14 days, but there have been a lot in Guangzhou. But I haven't really have that experience where I'm calm in my room with the message in my mind that I can't go out. So I know how that feel, and where you have somebody bringing you food, somebody bringing you water, somebody bringing you everything you want. So routine is kind of distorted, and you don't do what you want to do. And so a lot of people who get depressed, people even die not because of the infection, die because of their entire routine being cut off. So one of the things we think is a strategy to survive that kind of situation is kind of creating a normal routine. So if you somebody who have your student, for example, you attend classes, you have your study time, and then you have time to exercise. If you are confined in an apartment, what do you do? So do you stay have classes? If there are online classes, set your mind like yes, I'm still going to school. Keep your online classes regularly, active in class, not putting off your camera or just doing things. And then if you can do your exercise in your apartment, keep your routine exercise. If you have your normal particular study time, keep that routine. Create something that fits with that. That will kind of save you from going to depression or getting psychologically affected, right? So, how is that working for you, Hassan? Routine. I know you are a PhD candidate and you are a lawyer. You have your own routine. So now being confined for 30 days, how is that working for you?
Actually, to admit, the first 1 week was completely difficult, really difficult, especially knowing that I am a person who loves to move about. So it was completely difficult. But when I actually made up my mind and told myself that this is the reality, bro, you have to live with it, then I created for myself a routine plan to keep me, busy throughout the period. To just go back a little bit, in 2020 we had lockdown as well. But that lockdown didn't seem like a lockdown to me because where I live, we were full, living in this apartment in 4 different rooms. Currently, as it stands, I'm in an apartment alone, absolutely alone. The opposite apartment to me is also empty. So the entire flat, I'm the only person. So just imagine. So you have no one to talk to, nothing. You just left alone. So from the room to the bathroom, from the bathroom to the kitchen, from the kitchen to the living room, from the living room back to the balcony, from the balcony to the room. That's the routine. So I felt that that would not help, and I also saw it as an opportunity to me, considering that I was putting up a lot of weight. Of recent time, I was putting a lot of weight. And I said to myself, oh, then there's a need to now plan something. So I came up with something called the 12 models to COVID lockdown. So I had to sit and think about something. What can I do to keep myself busy throughout a period that I won't even know that I'm on a lockdown? And I have to draft something. So I will always have to run to my study table to look at the table. Oh, what should be done at this time? And then we put it into effect. So I normally miss breakfast. It's clear. I always miss breakfast because the time I wake up at the time breakfast is gone. So I always mix that, right? So when I wake up, I want to exercise. At least 30 minutes. I go to YouTube, get my YouTube video, doing my six pack, because I want,
So
to
you
get
you
myself.
created you have created a kind of gym in your apartment.
Oh yes, and luckily for me, I now have a situation where as I can go to YouTube and do exercises without having to have
So in summary,
mhm.
you have a routine.
I have a routine. Yes, 12
Wow,
models,
great.
12,
Wow.
12 items I must do daily. 12
Okay,
items I
I'll come
must
back
do
to
daily.
that. You have to tell me something about the 12 models. I think people listening may want to pick something from there. Jolie, what
Okay.
about you? What's your routine like? Do you have a routine? I talk about the importance of keeping to a routine. So since your whole schedule have been distorted, so how you doing? You just flowing with the flow, or you recreated a routine? How is it for you talking about routine?
Okay, so basically it has, okay, like what Hassan said, in the first week it was quite difficult for me. In the first week, I was just sleeping, I was just relaxing. Actually wanted a break from the hospital. I was going to the hospital too often, so I was like, I wish that, few days to relax. So when I heard that there was a lockdown, I was so happy to stay home because I thought it would just be for a couple of days.
So initially you were happy. The big interrupt. Initially you were happy. Are you still happy? Yeah, I think
I had
I think Jolie have a technical connection issue there. Let's see if she come back on. Yeah, so it's easy, Hassan. Sometimes that when these things arise, I tell you the truth. When there was this, lockdown and restriction in Guangzhou, sometimes in 2020 actually, and that I was really stressed. I would go into the hospital every day. I was so tired. I wanted a break. And then they said they were quarantining all the Africans and all the foreigners. And I didn't have any reason to be quarantined, but they picked me up that I need to be quarantined. So actually, I was against the way they were doing things, but I was happy that I had a break to go. And instead of considering that quarantine, I was like, oh, okay, this is the a refreshing time. So actually, they came for me. Hey, you're a doctor. You need to go back to work after 3 days. I said, no, you guys quarantine me for 14 days. I'm actually going 14 days. I was free, but I wanted that rest. So when Joel said that, initially she was happy, I kind of felt like, yes, it depends where you come from. But of course, when times go on, you won't be just happy, right? You want to have your freedom and get a pattern back together. And so definitely you have to create a routine, or you have to bring in other strategies. But I like what you were saying, Hassan. You're talking about 12 models, and some people talk about exercise, bringing exercise. So, like for me, I started writing a book when I was kind of, you know, locked down for 14 days. I started writing a book that I later work on, that is now in the publishing house, supposed to be coming on. But I needed that time to start working on something. And exercise is something also, you know, people don't easily want to start, but this is an opportunity to start. So do you have anything like exercise in your 12 models? I know you started talking about that, going on
Yeah,
YouTube and all that.
so exercise make up two of the.
Okay.
So we have exercise for the morning, we have exercise for the evening. But before I go further with the issue of the models, let me just um address one of the issues that maybe will be in the minds of so many people. We should all have routine. That's very right for our daily activities. However, the routine we get used to, when they shift to get used to in another pattern, becomes an issue. When it shifts, everyone has a routine. We wake up in the morning, we either go to work, or we go to our research centers, we go to our universities, we do something. But when it shifts, it becomes an issue. Like I told somebody, Dr. Bala, that I can be in my room for the next 1 week. It doesn't play on my emotions and on my mental state, because I know I can go out anytime.
Mm.
But when I am told you can go out, then it plays on me, mentally. So for the first week, like I said, it was tough for me. I couldn't agree. I was protesting in all of the WeChat groups we created and other stuff. But then I said to
Are you
myself,
still
if even
protesting? You have to stop protesting because it's for your
no, I'm not
safety.
protesting anymore. I'm not protesting anymore, because I said to myself, if even you jump over this fence and get outside, who are you going to? Every other person is locked down. So who are you
All right.
going to?
So Hassan, I want to hear the 12 models. You know, we get a
Okay,
lot to
so
point out
for
here.
for
So can
for
you
my
just
12
list them?
model,
I think you
for
say
my 12
exercise,
models,
two of them.
for
Yeah.
my
Can you
12
just list them?
models, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do these days now is to exercise. I was never exercising in the morning before, but I now do that. When I
Okay.
exercise, after I have exercise, when I'm cooling off, then I jump into music. Oh, that's
Music.
when I disturb it. That's why I disturb the entire house. I don't care who's sleeping, who's not sleeping on the other floor or beneath me or above me. I disturb the entire house, and we just play music. So that music become my number two priority. Number three priority, when I'm done with music, then I get the cell phone now to check out of the group chats to see. So now I'm surfing the internet, checking my social media accounts, checking my emails and other stuff, right? And from there, it is already Mayday. And when it's
You're pushing the
Mayday,
hour, man.
well, yes, because I wake up somewhere around 10, 11.
So that three: exercise,
Yeah.
music,
So I
and social
so then
media.
then
I'm
then
waiting on a whole
then I
square.
go
Let's go.
then I go to the kitchen. Then I go to the kitchen to see what is available to make something to
You
eat.
cook,
Most time,
cook.
most time I just eat white rice with egg and just put some oil on it. And
So
then
that
after
cooking number
eating
four.
something, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, then I get to my table. Then I take at least up to 4 hours to read articles of interest to me, and
Reading,
take at least 3 hours to do the writing. But they are all on what
writing.
I call work of the day. No, they are all on what
What?
I call work of the
What?
day.
Work
So
of
that's
the
number
day.
five. Yeah, work of the
Okay.
day. So on there, I will write, I will read, and on there, I also ensure that for that day I learn something new that I never knew.
Okay.
I must try to learn something new that I never knew before. Either I must
So
learn
you have
few.
four. Yeah. Number
Yes, yes,
six.
yes. I'm gonna do that.
Okay,
Number
look at
six, then I
you. Because S.
Number six, then I do the union activities. I have two
Union
hours every
activities.
day. Every day I give to LSUIC to do her jobs. To look at
Okay.
this person complain, to look at this other letter that we need to do, to look at this other one at least 2 hours a day. When I'm done with
Okay.
that, something
Mm-hmm.
new I have developed that I wasn't doing before is to look at movies. I'm never a movie
Movies.
star. Never I
Wow.
have been a movie star. Yes. Because for every time I sat before the TV and saw football
Right.
game and maybe the news, or to just look at Mara and Clara, I will sleep. But now I'm forced to look at Mara and Clara. But
And you don't
anyway,
sleep.
I ask friends for movies of interest. Like most time I watch legal movies. Um, After that, when my mind is a little bit relaxed, I come back to review my work of the day to
Okay.
see the work I did. My mind has relaxed a little. Maybe new ideas has come up in my mind to see how I can modify them. When I'm done with
Okay.
that,
All right.
when I'm done with that, number nine, then I go to my bed, lie in the bed, and take the phone now and start to either talk to my daughter, talk to my mother, and talk to
Communication.
whosoever
Okay.
person is yes, return messages to people and other stuff. When I'm done with that, at least by 10 p.m., then I get back to do another set of exercises for the evening.
Okay. Doing exercise. Okay.
Very well. So when I do my evening exercise, then I get dinner. I mean, my time
Mm.
I take my own dinner then, and then
Oh wow.
after that, then I'm hoping and waiting now for the popular spoon talk.
Wow.
So
So you have a
spoon talk
full
drags
day,
me. Yeah,
Hassan.
spoon
This
spoon talk
sounded.
drags me into 5 a.m. and then at 5 a.m. I go to bed. Sometimes
Wow.
6 a.m. I go to bed.
This, listening to you, like for me, this is wow. That's more than a full day. Let me come back to you, Julie, because Hassan just scared me. That doesn't even look like a lockdown because he's spending more than 20 hours working. So that's I don't know, but that's just like a very basic day. So Jolie, come back to the about your routine. So you can take from there and go down to exercise and yeah, what is your routine? Maybe you can just list them briefly. I guess you don't have to work like Hassan. Jolie, we can hear you.
I think she's having internet issues.
Yeah. Jolie, can you hear us?
Okay.
Yes, sure. Can you go
So
ahead?
yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead, Jolie.
Okay. So my norm is like I wake up. I usually wake up from bed. I wake up from bed at 10, but I do my work by installment. So I wake 6 o'clock in the morning, and I do the antigen,
Wait, excuse me,
the
please. Let me
self
interrupt you there.
antigen test.
You do your waking up in installment. Like, can you explain that?
Okay, so I wake up at 6 o'clock, and then
Mhm.
I just place it in front of the door because if I don't, the health worker come at 8 o'clock and they will knock the door and I might be sleeping. So so when I do the antigen in front of the door and I come back to sleep. So when I come
Okay.
back to sleep, I will wake up at 10 around 10. So I'm to be able to wake up at least 10 o'clock. Wake up 10 o'clock, I go to the kitchen, breakfast and eat. So after making breakfast,
Okay.
I'll come inside,
Yeah, please. Yeah,
come again.
cooking. Yes, I'm just re-emphasizing what you said. So when you wake up in installment, then you do your breakfast. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then after eating breakfast, I will come back and clean my bedroom, clean like the apartment, everywhere that needs to be clean. Then I'll go back to the kitchen to be able to prepare lunch. When I prepare lunch, I'll eat between. I don't have a fixed time, so I eat between 12 o'clock to 1:30. I eat my lunch, and while I'm eating my lunch, I'm maybe phone playing with my phone. So right after my lunch at 2 o'clock, that I have some papers to write. Like I have some documents to submit, or maybe my instructor have made some editing on words, and I need to do it.
Oh,
Yeah. And then after that, at 4 o'clock, so I've actually adapted a new thing. I decided to learn French. So I decided to learn an
wow.
extra language, you know. So I decided to learn French, some French classes. So I will start French. I will attend my French classes from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and and practice what I've learned. Then at 7 o'clock, I will try to work out. It's not regular because when I feel happy, it's not like I do it every day. Every day, like try to fill in the time sometimes. And then after doing the workout, I'll go make dinner, something small, and eat. Back on my computer, it's like I want to watch my series, my next series. So I have like 3 different series that I'm on. So I either watch this or watch the other one. Yeah, and after that, I just chat with people and go to bed. So that's basically my normal routine for the day.
Wow. So that means we don't have a lot of time. Let me kind of run through some of the things you guys said. And yes, taking it from routine. I think those of you that are following, many people get bored. People get going to psychological shock and all of that because we think our routine is broken and there is no way we can, readjust it. So it starts from there. If you're following us, you're in a lockdown, and don't just lay down and sleep. That's not the end of your life. Your life having changed. You have a lot of resources around you to just read, format or kind of redirect your routine, but keep to a routine. In fact, you could even get more busier than if you were outside. Let me put it that way. So keeping a routine is very, very important. In fact, I want to believe Hassan is even more busy than when he was outside. Because to a model, that's crazy. He seems to be busier than me, who is a doctor here, right? Regular exercise. Usually, exercise is something we don't easily do, but this is an
That's
opportunity.
right.
This is an opportunity to actually, put that into your routine. Like both of my guests here tonight said, exercise there. Even though Jolie say imagine this is something she do when she happy, but now it kind of like she's getting happy more because she have time to exercise. Healthy eating. I heard both Hassan and Jolie talking about going to the kitchen, getting breakfast, getting dinner. That's quite very important. Many people when they are stressed, when they're not getting things done the way they want it be done, they don't eat. But it's very important that you eat healthy. You make sure have your breakfast, have your lunch, have your dinner. So you should eat healthy. That's very important. Another thing that was mentioned by both Jolie and Hassan, talking about going to the social media. That's something maybe I want to, talk about the social media and the news. Some people think that's just so scary. Like you watch the news, you see the things that are happening. Sometimes some of the news you see on some of the information you see on the news in your own city, you're like, what is this happening here? It even scare you more. But I think it's very important as well to know what's happening around you. So watch the news. If the news is going to scare you, if it will put you into shock, then reduce, how much you watch it. But I think it's important to know, what is happening around you. There could be even very important information as to how to go about what's happening around you, right? And social media. Well, I agree sometimes we misuse it, but it's very, very useful. You can, be able to do a lot on social media, not just, making social media your only routine. Because I know people who are locked down, the only thing they have is their phone from morning to the next day and they sleep. They don't eat, they don't exercise, they don't do anything else. It's just straight social media. Then that's become terrible. But I think it should be part of your routine. You can, rightfully use. But then again, go back to routine. When you organize your timing, there is time to be on social media, there is time to watch the news, and there is time to do other things. And then staying connected. I heard Hassan talking about time he called his daughter, talk to family. Yes, In fact, it's important. That's the time you want to check on people, what's happening, what's happening in your city, what's happening in your district, what's happening in the village, what's happening there. You want to know, you want to keep in touch. So stay connected. Another thing, support system is very, very important. Like, if you are Christian, you want to attend church services online. If you are Muslims, you want to keep in touch with your community. You're a student, you want to keep within a student community, attend meetings, attend activities online. Yes, you have to be part of a support system. Some people just isolate themselves. It's not forced to have friends, but it's good to be part of a community. A support system is very important. There are people, especially you in a foreign land, you're a foreign student or expert, you need to be part of a support system. That's very good. And the last one that we're going to take a few minutes on, then I ask my guests to talk something then before we go, is mental health. Very important. So having a routine, eating healthy, regular exercise, balancing your social media life, staying connected, having a support system, all of that is not just trying to, keep the hours going, but it's also trying to keep yourself healthy, protecting your mental health. So your mental health is not just, locking yourself up and crying, and no, it's like doing many of those things again to protect your mental health. So, and I know how stressful and how terrible it can be. People get depressed. People kind of like get completely confused because they feel that they're in prison. And like, I didn't come here to cry. I've never been to prison. Here am I locked up in my room with something to my door. I can't go outside. All of that. Mental health is very important in this case. So closing, Hassan, starting with you, your closing statement and talking about mental health, all the different things we talk about, trying to protect our mental health. How are you dealing with that? What would be your advice to somebody who, in a similar situation like you, how can we protect our mental health? How can we put all of those many things we just discussed together and be able to come out of similar situation, even if it's 6 months, and stay healthy mentally?
Oh, so what I would think is this. It is almost like having a comparison between a guy who is in a fence with bad dogs, but the dogs are not biting him, but just smelling him to know who this. And he going through that, and he want to jump over the fence, and then the dog say, "Oh, then he must be a bad guy. Let's bite him." So what I would advise anyone who will be in my situation is to better create for yourself the activities that keep you going as much as possible as you can, so that your mental stability remains active as it is. So one of the things I did in my first 1 week before drafting these plans that kept me going, that I never spoke about, is something I think people can do to also help themselves. There are thousands and millions of Chinese who are also on a lockdown. So I have subscribed to this app called Tantan, and on Tantan we have club, we have online club. So everybody's in the room, and everybody partying, everybody looking at everybody, and we laughing and we partying. It keep you going. And for every
Support
time I
system,
log into
yeah.
that, yeah, for every time I log into that, people are there 24/7. And some people go to class. After the class, they jump, they come back on. And we have our DJ who we don't know who is a DJ. And he's just playing some very beat hit song. So everybody just dancing. And it's like the person with the best dance or something make money. People that making money. I I have not reached the level at which I can make money. So people are watching, and maybe I like the way that the butter is moving, and then I put 2 kwa in for the butter, and that money goes to you. People make money from that activity. So these people have created for themselves the means by which this lockdown should not really affect them. Aside food. So I would think that mentally, every rational person must have the regular sleep. They must do something to keep the body fit. They must have something to keep them going. And for those who are students, it is even found at the bottom who have classes, because at least you have something to keep you going. The professor is going to say, "Oh, the class is 2 o'clock. Let's go on Zoom or let's go on Teams," and you guys are there. As compared to some who are no longer students, who don't have classes to go to, so it's even become boring. So to the extent that about in my first 1 week, our auditing classes. But then I said to myself, auditing classes, look for something new to do. And I sat one day and I just designed for myself my models. And my models are working well. And I can rest assured, and you can be rest assured about it, that we know what to talk. I don't feel anything like lockdown. All I miss is eating the kind of meal I want to eat. That's all I miss. That's all.
Okay.
So
But you
mentally,
may
I'm
probably
stable.
end up becoming a very good cook at the end of the lockdown. You will probably not be going to the restaurant anymore.
I would love to, but there is nothing to cook. So how do you cook? So we just boil the eggs. I just boil eggs and cook rice and eat rice and egg. That's just all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hassan, for that. Jolie, in few words, what would be your advice for anyone in lockdown? What can they do to protect their mental health and be able to come out safe? Jolie, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Hello? Can you?
Yeah, Jolie. Yeah, Jolie, please go ahead. I was asking what would be your parting word, your advice for somebody who is in lockdown? What can they do to protect their mental health to be able to come out safe? Your parting words, in few words. Your parting statement in few words.
Okay, so firstly, I would like to say to everyone that is locked down right now, you just have to lock down as a lifestyle. Because if you accept it as like your normal lifestyle, you are able to adjust schedule, to face lockdown space. Because basically the only thing we are missing is outside. So suppress your desires of being outside, overthinking too much. If you are like me that like reading the news, try not to read the bad news. Because if you read the bad news, I'm afraid you are still going to overthink about it too much and you feel like you are in prison. So consider this lockdown not like a prison because you are in your own home, you are very comfortable to where you are. You are just depriving yourself of being outside, or you have been deprived of being outside. So try to stay focused and do a lot of positive things. So you have all of the time yourself. Right now, it's like you control your own time. So you have to make use of your own time. Be very productive. Do things that will bring more results to yourself to be able to benefit you because right now it's all about you. So don't think too much, stay focused, and always pray because right now it just takes only God to keep you going. That's why you have your own effort to apply. You need to be able to give you the stress lockdown and be hopeful that it will. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's read some
And
comments from the
Dr.
chat
Dr.
room.
Bala,
Okay, yes, Hassan.
I'm very sorry to just add to what my coordinator said, giving myself a challenge. And the challenge is to produce something I never produced when lockdown is over.
Wow.
So it could be an article, it could be an article, it could be whatsoever thing. So, and I said to myself, if I don't do it, then it means that I am as useless as useless. So it is a challenge to myself So no one is challenging me. I'm pushing myself. So every other person, like Jolie said, who's in lockdown, challenge yourself to doing something that you never did before. Come up with something positive, and then that positive thing you're going to come up with become a part of your success story from lockdown. You see, I thought about that. I got that thought when I thought about Dr. Bully. So of recent, he and I had a discussion, and I said, Doc, it was during COVID lockdown in 2020 that you wrote your first book, right? The Champions Thought. And he said, yeah. The Champions Thoughts came up doing. I said, oh, Doc, but I think I need to go that route. I think I need to go that route. Yeah. But that be a book, but if there's an article of, that will be
Yeah.
published in, a high, impact factor journal, let me do it. That would be a
Okay.
challenge to me. So at least I can say,
Challenge
oh, that's
yourself.
COVID publication. I can say that lockdown publication right there.
Mm,
And with that, I'm very sure um when I'm writing a history tomorrow, I would say, oh, that paper was written during COVID. It,
during
it
COVID.
becomes a part of the
Mm,
lockdown success story.
yes. Thank you for that. So there are a few comments in the chat room, and then we go. So yes, from what you just said, Catherine from Beijing say, challenge yourself to do something you have never done. Yes, that's what we're saying, and that's great. That's great. Okay, Diesel, thank you for joining us. Thank you too. Diesel is telling us thank you for the show. And Catherine is commenting that you had a great routine, Hassan. And yes, you also say a lot about the routine here. That's quite long. I'm not sure I can read out of that. We agree with the aspect of keeping a routine. And yes, so Beijing is also currently locked down, and I think this is going to be helpful to people like catching as well as following the show. I see who else I see here. Yeah, these are a few comments from the lockdown, and yeah, catching saying Tiayo to Shankar. Jeff, yes, thank you for joining us, Jeff. Not sure where you're joining us from, but yes, thank you for joining us. It was great having you. So these were a few comments from the chat room. Just sharing that. So, like we said, keep a routine, regular exercise, healthy eating, social media, and news. If you're somebody who can get practice, that Judy said, avoid the news. If you can, balance your social media life, that's good. Stay connected. And of course, be part of a support system. Don't isolate yourself. And of course, your mental health is important. Challenge yourself to do something. Like I said, I actually started writing a book 14 days when I was restricted in 2020. And that book is now in the publishing house. So when it comes out today, I'm on Facebook bluffing with my book that I have published. Hopefully, I'll be saying I started this initiative in lockdown. And
That's a
I'm
success
just
story.
hoping now
That's
that book
right.
going to be published soon, and it's in the final stage. I actually wrote a whole practical English for neurosurgery residency training, and that just started because I was restricted for 14 days, and I have to work on it for more than 2 years. And so, challenge yourself to do something that you can say, when I was locked down, when I was restricted, I didn't just waste my time. This is what I produced. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a wonderful discussion and just learning and 12 models. I didn't know there are waking up in stages. I learned that today.
Say that
waking up
again.
in waking up in stages, right? You wake up,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
eat,
We're getting all in
get up.
parts. We're getting all in parts.
So don't worry, you learn that. If you're somebody who don't want to, mess up your schedule, wake up in stages as well and challenge yourself. So there are a lot to learn today. I want to say all is just geared to keeping healthy. Thank you so much. It was great having you here today, Hassan and Julie. I hope we can have another great discussion another time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was nice being on your platform.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you to all of you. It was great having you, and we hope to be back again with another interesting episode of medical reality talk show and inspiration with Dr. Bala.